Everyone thinks because you're a zombie, you don't know good coffee. Well, they're wrong. There's only one brew that gets my seal of approval. Deadly Grounds coffee is my guilty pleasure. The aroma is so intoxicating. It brings all of my neighbors out of the woodwork. Deadly Grounds coffee. Coffee to die for and zombie approved. It's good to get a little deadly. Use the front door! Oh, they're so disgusting.
Hey everybody, it's Tuesday night. It's another live Wicked Horror Show. I'm Kevin, and as always, I'm joined by Tony Has Nine Fingers.
What is going on, people?
And tonight we're going to be talking about a movie called A Night of the Undead. It's kind of like almost like a fan film kind of sequel to Night of the Living Dead, kind of, I guess, right? But first off, I want to introduce the director. We have Kenny Scott. How you doing, Kenny?
Hey, how's it going?
Not bad. And we have Tyler, who's the writer of the movie, or one of the writers. You wrote the screenplay, right? And then it was adapted a little bit from there?
That is correct. So Kenny and Jake came up with the story, and then I wrote the screenplay for it.
Oh, nice. Okay. I was thinking the other way around. So, and Tyler, like I've met you, I don't know how long ago. I think the first time I met you was at Rock and Shock. Maybe we were in line to meet Michael Rooker and Scott Wilson.
Oh my good! Wow.
Yeah, I was very sick. I was very sick that day, and I paid for a photo op, and I forgot and just walked away. So yeah, that was a good time. Yeah, I think that's the first time I met you. But yeah, through social media and all this stuff, right? We know each other. So I saw, and it's kind of I noticed when I was looking at some stuff that someone that I was talking to recently, Nancy Ann Ritter, was in this movie, and I was like, oh, wait a minute, I know this guy. So I reached out to you. I'm like, hey, Small World, a movie that you wrote, Nancy Ann Ritter is in, and blah blah blah, whatever. And I'm like, you want to come on and talk about it? And there we go. So how did this all come to be? Because Tyler, you're in Mass, Kenny's in Kentucky.
Yes.
There you go. All right, I remembered. How did this all happen?
Yeah. Well, so basically,
go. You go.
I love telling this story because I was just talking to Kenny about it the other night. So basically, I was working my job at the time, working at a school for a day school for special needs children, and just one day I got a message from this guy named Kenny, and it was about, we kind of started talking back and forth about our love for horror movies and movies in general, and then they were looking for a writer for this project, and so I sent him a couple samples of my work, and then once I heard back from him later that he really liked what he read, I was like kind of astonished because I had friends in the area I'd try to make movies with. So many opportunities would rise and then fall like from beneath our feet. And so nothing ever really came to fruition. But as soon as Kenny read that work, I'm like, wow, like this guy's states away from me. But, it just felt like such a close connection. And, from then on, we started to further develop what became A Night of the Undead. But it was just kind of just a random message just one day, just out of the blue. I mean, I get random messages all the time. I mean, it's the internet, it happens. But there was something about the way Kenny approached me that just felt real and authentic and genuine. And I haven't really, I can't really say I felt that otherwise with a lot of my other encounters with folks on the internet. There's something about when that Kenny.
There's a lot that happens on the internet that's definitely questionable. People reach out to me and I'm like, when are they going to start asking me for my social security number? Is this going to happen at some point? I don't know if I trust it. So actually Jake C. Young is in the chat on Facebook. He's saying, hey guys, he's the other director, right?
He is.
So yeah, it's, I don't know if you want to shoot him the link, if you want to join Jake. We were talking about, asking if you're going to join us, but if you're available, shoot up one of those guys and they'll send you the link. He says yes. All right, and we have a couple of regulars. We have MK Ultra. He's saying, before this starts, I just want to say good luck, and we're all counting on you. So I think that's an airplane reference.
Airplane.
Yeah. We have Shutterblade Media. He's awesome. I talk about him every time he's in the room. I'm gonna shut up. Sergio's in the chat room again, saying hey. What's up, Serge? Wolfie's in the chat room saying, hey guys. Where are you, Wolfie? Why didn't you come on? And then so this was like it's like a fan film kind of. Would you call it a fan film, or how would you describe it?
No, I would not actually.
Okay.
Can you guys hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Yeah, okay. Jake, I forwarded you the email with the link that Tyler sent me, so you should have it. No, I wouldn't call it a fan film because, the thing is, a fan film is taking an intellectual property and adapting it, right, into a film. But the thing with a fan film is, as I said, it's an intellectual property. You can't make any money off of it, and you can't really get distribution with that. And Night of the Living Dead was in the public domain. And that was one of the things that really kind of interested me, because during 2020, in case you guys didn't know, there was like a big pandemic that went on, right? Okay. And like, I don't know, just the more, as 2020 progressed and the wilder it got, right? Because it got crazy. You guys can probably hear my 4-year-old back there.
I thought, I was going to say, it's the kid I have locked up in the basement. But
oh, okay, cool. I mean, it's fine, Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah. Okay. So as 2020 progressed and got crazier, I noticed, I was like, man, this is just kind of like Night of the Living Dead. Like, it's just like everybody's locked in their houses and they're like afraid of like being infected by what's outside. And I'm like, Night of the Living Dead, I was like, it's almost like a good allegory for COVID. And then I was like, well, wait a minute. I was like, Night of the Living Dead is public domain.
Yeah.
I was like, and I didn't necessarily want to remake that exact same movie. Originally I did. I was like, oh, hey, let's do the exact same script, but we'll update it, whatever. And, that was the original idea. And then I was like, but, if we're going to update it, let's really update it.
Yeah.
And
do you have any different thoughts, Jake? I'm just curious. I wanted to add you in at one point. I'm like, I don't know where I can add him in. I was just trying to
anywhere.
Hey, what's up, guys?
Hey, Jake.
What's happening?
So do you agree with what Kenny's saying, or are you absolutely against everything he said right there?
Well, it kind of depends, because I was watching it on one monitor on Facebook and then watching the other one here. So I kind of got like double portions that was coming through all weird.
I hear you.
Yeah. I was trying to text Kenny and he's like setting up his new phone. So it's like absent and I never got a link. And
it's in the living room. I don't even have it with me.
Yeah, right. I know. I texted his wife and I was like, she's like, yeah, he's already on the call. I was like, oh, well, okay. So but right. Yeah, thanks for having me, guys.
Yeah, no worries.
Thanks for coming on.
Yeah. And so you were saying how you at first were thinking of doing the straight up remake of Night of the Living Dead.
Yeah, but and that was originally the plan, and I reached out to Jake because he and I live in the same town, but we never worked on a project together. We talked about it a lot. It was just something that was never happening. And I was like, you know what, this might be a good project for us to kind of get to know each other a bit better. And, maybe we'll, have like a little friendship or something at the end of it, and a great movie, that everybody can relate to. And when I reached out to him, he was really the one who came up with more of the idea as far as, let's acknowledge that original film, say this film takes place in that universe. And that was really kind of the jumping off point. And it was pretty much just full speed ahead from there.
Yeah. So. It's definitely more virus, like you said, like more on the COVID tip for sure. And less, obviously it's not racial like the original was,
right.
which is, that had its point. This has its point. So what was the process like from when Tyler came up with the script? You guys came up with the story. He came up with the screenplay. What was the time frame for this? Because I know Tyler had been posting about it like here and there for a while, amongst other things that I'm sure we'll talk about later. Like you guys are all working on other stuff. But yeah, so like, how long was this whole process?
I reached out to every possible writer that I knew, and they all wanted to adapt it differently or change it. They wanted to put their own spin on it. They wanted to be more political with it. They wanted, to change these characters from what we wanted them to be into other things. Like maybe instead of, having two characters that were into, just something basic that was totally anti-political, maybe they're into, like, say these characters are into podcasting. They wanted to make them, oh no, these people are Trump supporters, and there's this, and it's like, I don't want to make this political. Like, yes, right. If it's going to be political, like the original film, it needs to have that political undertone, because it doesn't. That was the beauty of the original, was that it didn't come right out and tell you, hey, we're political, right? So, they all wanted to change it and make it very political, like I said, and I just was not into that. And I was like, I reached out to Tyler. He and I have been Facebook friends for a really long time, but I didn't know really anything about him, honestly. I knew he posted a lot about like some movie reviews and whatnot, but I mean, I didn't really know him outside of that. I don't even know how we became Facebook friends. I'm thankful that we did. But I reached out to him and I was like, hey, have you ever written any screenplays or anything? And he said, yeah, and it went from there. Like Tyler said, he sent me a sample of his stuff, and I will always have him involved, in some capacity on any project I do, because I think Tyler is freaking awesome.
I second that.
Yes.
There you go. See that, Tyler? You're the man.
He is the man.
He is. I'm telling you, listen, he's a force of nature. And he's technically an award-winning screenwriter now.
He is.
Really?
He really is, yeah.
Yes.
With this movie, or?
Well, it was with a couple of your screenplays, wasn't it, Tyler?
Yeah, I had submitted a drama one and then like a television pilot I had. But I would definitely, I would love to submit this screenplay, though. That would have been pretty awesome.
So the screenplay that we actually, the one we ended up shooting, it was kind of different from Tyler's original version that we had all kind of come up with. In the original screenplay that Tyler had come up with and that we had all kind of orchestrated, there was actually, we were going to have more flashback scenes from the original with characters reprising those roles. Like, we had some people cast that we were looking at doing that with, but due to scheduling and runtime and stuff, we had to chop it down a little. But yeah, in Tyler's original draft, we had scenes with Ben and Barbara and Johnny, and like a lot of Easter eggs from the original.
Nice, that's cool. We actually had John Russo on the show once.
Oh yeah,
he was one of the writers on the original, right?
Yes.
I'm always forgetting. Everything jumbles up in my mind. He was a very nice guy. I met him at a con, and there we go. But yeah, it was definitely, it was different. I mean, I didn't know what I was expecting going in. Like, I watched the trailer. I tried to put it off as close to showtime as possible, because I have a memory of a very old man like myself. I remember when I met Tyler for the first time, but if you ask me what I had for lunch, I have no idea. So legit, I don't even know, what year was that even, Tyler? Like
2013, I think.
And I literally just met him in line waiting to meet somebody, and that was it. We just talked in line, and that was it.
Especially, but the thing is, the longer you wait in line, the more connections you get. And then you're like, okay, well, we're going to be standing here for about an hour and a half, so let me turn around and, or whatever.
Well, that's the thing with horror cons, is that, you're all there for the same reason. So that's one thing too. So Kenny and Jake, I know Tyler has done it. I know Tony does it. Do you guys ever like frequent horror conventions? Do you have in your area at all?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Okay,
yeah. So yeah, we've been to actually a couple different cons for this film, and
nice.
Yeah, and just promoting this film. We were in Scarefest. We got to go to Knoxville. Yeah, we've been in a couple different ones just for this movie specifically, and
nice.
It's something we really enjoy doing. I do, anyways. I don't know about him, but.
He's like, but no. So did you actually screen the movie at these cons, or was it something where you were just there promoting it, or?
Go ahead.
Me?
Yeah, you.
Oh, okay. We had the trailer presented at the con, but we didn't, we didn't want to show the film, of course, because we were really gearing for a limited theatrical release, which we did back in October. And then today it just hit Blu-ray and streaming. So
there you go. And where is it streaming now?
Currently it is on Amazon Prime and Vudu.
Okay.
And we're coming to Tubi. You can get it on Blu-ray and stuff too, like on physical copy. Get DVD, I believe, on is it Makeflix is DVD?
Makeflix, yeah.
Makeflix's DVD, and then like there's freaking like Walmart, Amazon, everywhere else in the world for the Blu-ray, which I believe Tyler actually, yeah, you have the Blu-rays, don't you? Check this out.
Just came in today.
Yeah.
Good timing.
Kenny sent me a photo. He's like, "Oh my God, look what Tyler just sent me." I was like, "Man, that's awesome."
Well, I'll have to be on the lookout at Walmart. I mean, is it going to be in actual Walmart stores or is it only online? Do you know?
I honestly don't know. It probably just depends on.
I think it depends on
Walmart. Yeah, that Walmart.
Which Denny, who is in the film, sent me a screenshot earlier. He went to Walmart, like on the website. He went to the website and it says that they are now sold out of the Blu-rays, which made me feel pretty good.
That's awesome.
So, yeah,
that's cool. So Sergio's asking if we have a trailer. We do have a trailer, Sergio. We'll just play it a little bit later. But what were we seeing, Tony?
I was gonna say, well, seeing behind Tyler and Kenny there, I don't know if Jake does, but it's good to see fellow physical movie collectors. So is it always the plan to have a physical? Because there's some people that they'll just go the streaming route, and which as sad as it is, I think that's the way the world's soon.
So,
which I don't like. But was there always a plan to have the physical?
Oh yeah, absolutely. And Kenny might have already told you about this before I came on. We were actually, with the nostalgia we tried to pull with this film, we were talking with our distributor and the people who released it. We were even looking at doing a limited VHS run for the film,
Nice.
for collectors and stuff. Cause those were the best, like, the nostalgia on that, you can't beat it. My physical media actually, Tony, is all in my basement. So behind me, you can actually see I've got the Night of the Living Dead posters and a couple different. That's a Bill Skarsgård autograph, Pennywise, and different stuff from.
Oh, nice.
All that. Yeah,
did you get to meet him? You got to meet Bill, or is it okay? That's cool. That's awesome. I know, like sometimes people buy autographs online or whatever. I'm like, that's cool too, but shaking the hand is like is
well, I didn't. It cool. Wasn't like physical. It was like a.
Oh, okay. like when you would meet William Shatner at a Comic-Con, where it's just like, hey, you're over there. Hi. Here's $150. Give me your autograph.
The
please.
Same way we kind of met Robert Englund, didn't we, Kenny? Well, I don't know if we really would say we met him. We were like within a couple feet of him, but that was about as far as
he's a wicked nice guy. If you ever get a chance to meet him, he's a very nice guy. Yeah, they're doing a con out in our area. I think it's in Marlboro, Tyler, where a bunch of Nightmare cast is going to be there. And they were like putting out the feelers because the woman who played Freddy's mom in, was it 5? I think. With a little kid Freddy, like before he was Freddy. She was like trying to get a part of the to be part of the show, and like we're like, all right, all hands on deck. She wants to be part of the show. Let's send in requests. Stuff like that. Next thing you know, there was a thing coming up that she was part of the show. So I'm like, oh, Freddie and his mom, like a family reunion, whatever. It'll be cool. But yeah, that's in Marlboro. I think that's HorrorCon. It's put on by the same people who do Rhode Island. Anyways, yeah. So cons are pretty awesome. I do a lot of moderating at cons and stuff too. So I've luckily been able to find my way into that. It's only local and some upstate New York and stuff like that too, but nothing too crazy. But hey, if I can get it for free, I'll talk for an hour in front of people. I do it all the time. Right?
Absolutely. Yeah. Tyler, you need to look into HorrorCon too, see if you can get in and promote the film a bit.
Hey, yeah.
That'll be fantastic.
Speaking of celebrities and cons and stuff, we had some pretty exciting news actually drop earlier this morning. These guys might want to tell you about that.
Did you guys see it at all earlier? No?
Who, us?
Yes.
No. I was working all day.
So, we have Diane Franklin from Amityville 2, Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure, Better Off Dead. She will be joining our current film that we are in process of shooting right now. So that was very exciting. Very exciting for us.
What's that movie called?
It is called Dark Room.
Dark Room. Is Tyler involved in that as well?
Yes.
There you go, Tyler. See? Things are looking up. No, so no, that's pretty awesome. And I saw you guys had I'm forgetting her name already. Nancy Ann Ritter.
Yes.
In this one. So I was supposed to do a show with Nancy. We were supposed to start a show together, her and a friend of mine. And it seems like that's been put on the back burner for the time being. She has a new boyfriend, and I think things are getting pretty serious. Tony Moran is her new boyfriend, by the way. Tony Moran, who played
Michael
Tony
Myers.
Moran?
Yeah.
What?
Wow.
That's her new boyfriend. Yeah,
Wow.
they're like getting an apartment together and everything. She's moving out there to live with him, and everything. But
Now, with this movie, you guys, Jake and Kenny, you said you lived in the same area, and then this kind of brought you together. Now, with the casting, was that almost the same thing? Was it like a grassroots thing where the actors and actresses as well, or was it a casting thing, or how did that come to be?
Ish.
Yes.
a little of everything.
Yeah. So I'll let Kenny tell you about that one.
For instance, Mason Johnson, who plays Adam in the film, he was the first person cast, like bar none. I asked him, we were trying to cast the movie, and I'm like, hey, do you want to be in a movie? He's like, yeah, he'd never done a movie before. And he's like, yeah, I'd love to. And I brought him. Jake brought Denny, kid who plays Brady. And he also brought Brianna, who plays Piper. And then also Mackenzie Clay was in the last film we worked on, Boone the Vengeance Trail. And just came together. It was a nice little group because by the end of the shoot, they were all like real friends that had been friends for a really long time. And so it really was something I think that brought them all together, and they're still pretty good friends now.
That's cool. There's something that Tony brings it up a lot, but it's you can almost feel like some camaraderie when they're on screen. Sometimes if it's awkward, like if someone just doesn't like somebody, it kind of almost comes across, even though they're acting well, it may be a little different. But is this something where I don't know what the scene is like out by you guys, but one of the things that we see a lot in this area, especially, and there's other areas all over the country, but you see the same group of actors like just kind of working with the same directors all the time. Is that going to be the same deal?
This is not, no. We Jake and I said, from the beginning, we don't want to have the same people in all of our projects because, again, like you said, it's just you see the same thing. It's like repetition over and over and over. How many?
It works sometimes. Like it depends on the kind of movies. Like if it's believable and if they're really good, like really good actors, and you can almost forget that they were in another movie, or if they can change how they look a lot. It does work from time to time. And there's some people that they just work really well with certain directors, where I don't mind seeing it. But I hear you. At the same time, too, it's just like, great. If, every example I was coming up with in my head was completely wrong because they've worked with the same people all the time. So forget it. I'm not even going to mention it.
Well, we have cameos. Like we'll use some of the same people over and over, but it's not like that same main cast over and over. Like you might see a familiar face thrown in there occasionally, be like, oh, hey, I remember that person from that. But like, it's not the exact same repeat over and over. Like it's not American Horror Story where it's just the same people being used in the same roles like each season.
In my mind, I like to think like it's part of the same like world, and that's that character from the other movie, and they just happen to be walking by in the background or something like that.
Right.
I just explained that in my own head. I don't know. Anyways, but Sergio asks this all the time, and I just want to ask it because he asks it all the time, and it's not a bad question. So all of you guys, with the exception of Tony, what is your favorite horror movie? And like, is your favorite horror movie what got you into horror, or is it something different? Tyler, you go first.
All right. The movie that got me into horror would be the Texas Chainsaw Massacre, the original. So I love telling the story. Makes my dad look like a jerk, but he's not. So basically, my dad put it on one day. He's supposed to be watching me, passed out. And 5-year-old me stumbles into the living room like, oh, what's this? And about 90 minutes later, just sitting there, the movie's done. I'm just sitting there, just frozen, just like, what was that?
Yeah.
I mean, nothing a 5-year-old should be watching. My dad found
not
out.
At all.
It was a bit horrified, like, oh God. It was strange because I was so scared, but I knew it was fake.
Right.
And I could make that correlation in my mind. And I was like, what is this feeling? Like, it was the first time I was actually scared of something, and like my introduction to fear, just like, what is it? But I felt safe, like I felt scared. I'm like, wow, I really liked that. I'm like,
yeah.
There's
So
no.
that's what got you the introduction. But would you say that that's your favorite horror movie?
So it is one of my favorites. However, a personal favorite's probably The Evil Dead.
Okay.
Just for so many reasons. What Sam Raimi was able to do with that budget, and it's kind of serves as motivation. All the stuff they went through to get the movie made. My friend and I joined forces, and we were teenagers. His grandparents gave him a camera. We were trying to do all like those kind of Sam Raimi low budget sort of techniques. Wouldn't pan out in our favor, but we were very inspired by Evil Dead.
Like strap
Everything
down
Evil Dead.
the camera to a 2x4 and run through the woods, then you're gonna like clotheslining somebody or something. Oh, those they're great. I actually just not recently 3D printed a Book of the Dead stash box. So this is like just a giant stash box. Because
awesome.
I'm 47 and this is what I do for fun. All right. So anyways, yeah.
Goals right there. I love that.
Yeah, no, it's just boredom is what it is. So Kenny, what would be your favorite horror movie, and what do you is that the same movie that got you introduced to horror?
No, my introduction to horror is actually very similar to Tyler's in much the same way, but instead of Texas Chainsaw Massacre, it was Alfred Hitchcock's Psycho. Same thing. My dad was watching it, and I walked in. He was not asleep. He knew I was watching it. He just didn't care. My dad was very lenient when it came to anything. I was like 3, 4, something. And I just remember that shower sequence came on, and my grandmother was very disappointed that he had let me watch not even the whole movie, just that portion of the film. And so that movie I credit with starting my love of cinema, because as Tyler said, he knew it wasn't real. I knew it wasn't real too. And so, it was more, to me, I was more like, wait, how did they do that? And then that was when I was like, started becoming more interested in how things worked as far as in a film.
Sorry.
But
Hey, Gretchen.
The cat walked by. So Psycho.
I didn't see her. I was
That's
talking.
okay.
But
Is that Gretchen the cat?
That is, yes. Sorry about that, Kenny.
It's okay. So Psycho is what got you into cinema and stuff like that. But would you say that Psycho is your favorite?
I wouldn't say it's my favorite, but it is definitely a film that I turn to a lot for like comfort food, I guess, like comfort viewing. Just because there's just so much you can learn about filmmaking from just that one film. And then if it's juxtaposition with the Gus Van Sant 98 remake, which is shot for shot, word for word, same camera angles, the lighting, you have to look at the lighting and the delivery of the lines, because even a line delivered even slightly different in one version versus the other changes the entire, character's personality. And so that movie started it. But my favorite scary movie is the original Night of the Living Dead, just because something about dead people returning from their graves, just, I don't know, it freaked me out. It still does.
And the thing with that movie is it was so early on, and like there may have been there's other movies with zombies in them,
right?
But it's not to that extent. And there's some old school movies with zombies in them, and it's like completely different. And this is just a different, like you brought up before, it's kind of political. It's stuff like that. So it had that point to it. So that's a good choice. Jake, what about yourself?
So this one's kind of tough for me, and a lot of people might like grill me on this, but I never really was that big into horror until I kind of met Kenny and we started working on this. Like I was always like more of a like the sci-fi, I love thriller movies. Like the movie Prisoners with Hugh Jackman. That's one of my favorite. It's like a real, mind-boggling. I love films that make you think, that really go deep. And I wasn't huge into horror. Now I had watched them like my whole life, because as a filmmaker, it's really hard for me to just pick like one specific movie that's my favorite. Even
depends on the day of the week, right?
Yeah, because like any genre. I'm just going to tell you, it's going to be impossible for me to pick a favorite. I'm just going to go ahead and get that out there, because there's so many different styles of film that you can learn from, and especially with horror, as Kenny and I have started, working on more projects together, we've been incorporating different elements from our from our films, which I feel that kind of separates us apart from a lot of other filmmakers, because you got these horror filmmakers and it's all about the gore. It's all about gore, blood, guts. And that's not what we want to do. We want to tell a story that makes you, like sit there and bite your nails or on the edge of your seat. And that's what I feel makes a good horror film. Between our planning of that and Tyler's writing to convey that on screen, I really think that kind of sets us apart from most modern horror filmmaking, artists. Yeah. So whenever it comes to horror movies, like I said, I don't necessarily have a favorite. Now, I remember as a kid, like every Halloween, we were renting the original Halloween. We'd watch it, on VHS, and it was just all those things like that. Like Tyler had said, Sam Raimi's films, they're classic, and there's just so much you can learn, especially like films like Rear Window, one of my favorites, and one of that Kenny had just mentioned, Hitchcock. He was a master. Mm-hmm. That is something you really want to try to tailor your style to, is becoming that master of suspense without so much of the red stuff and the blood and the gore.
Well, now, if there's a place for it, I mean,
right.
That's the thing, is there's some movies that are just made to just shock you, and they do a very good job at that. There's other movies that try to be that, and they don't pull it off. But
I think that's the beauty of the horror genre, though,
so many subgenres.
Subgenres. So you have your blood, guts, and gore, but then you can attribute thrillers into the horror aspect, because
even though they don't want to admit it, Yeah,
but the thing is that when you're watching certain movies, you have certain feelings. So anything with a little bit of where you feel scared, I think falls into that horror genre. So with thrillers, you have a different feeling. You're like, okay, I'm scared now. It's not your ghosts and stuff, but you have that that feeling of something's going to happen, something's going on here. So technically, thriller is in that sub. I mean,
but when Silence of the Lambs, I agree with you 100%. But when Silence of the Lambs came out, that movie terrified me, and it was not considered a horror movie. Like, I found that to be like one of the scariest movies I'd seen like for years. Was that movie?
For sure.
Oh yeah, it really, and still gets me. It still gets me.
Well,
and Seven gets me too.
Yeah, just like I said about, Prisoners with Hugh Jackman. I don't know if you've seen it. It's not a horror movie, but the idea of you being abducted and then someone having to go through that, and like it's the mind twist deliberately going into a further spiral. It's something that that's horror in itself.
Oh, totally. Totally. But again, unfortunately with Hollywood is they don't like to horror is kind of like like I don't want to deal with this. Like, we're not doing horror. We're this huge film company. We're not going to do horror. But now you see movies, and this is another gory movie, but you see movies like Terrifier 2 that really kind of broke the mold for independent horror films, independent films in general, making as much as they did for $250,000, and in theaters. So I think that Hollywood may be changing their mind. But then again, too, Hollywood, when's the last time they really did anything super original? Like, most of the things that they've done are, don't get me wrong, there are some good things out there, but it's all kind of like you can find something else very similar,
because half of it's like remakes, reboots, redone.
But even things like that movie Megan, technically there isn't a movie that is specifically that, but there's other movies that are on the same guidelines. You look at stuff like Child's Play. You look at whatever. It's kind of the same deal. A doll comes to life kind of deal, but this is an AI robot or whatever. But
just like that's funny you would say that, because I just saw a thing where Mia Goth had done an interview, from X. She was in Pearl, and she's like, Hollywood and stuff, they don't take horror seriously, but there's a lot of independent filmmakers, I feel, that tell very original stories, and some of these films, the stuff on Shudder, things like that, they're almost better to me than watching. I can watch a film that's $500,000 budget, sit there and watch it, and then not have nearly the same story as something that is just simple, cheap made, something made on a couple grand budget,
right.
And that
new movie Skinamarink that just got a small release as well. that was made for $15,000, and they made a little shy of $1 million over like one weekend.
Yeah, that's actually those are the same individuals that's releasing our Darkroom film.
Oh, so, nice.
Yeah.
So yeah, they're so we had the mom from that movie, even though you don't see her face in the movie. She was the mom.
Hill.
Yeah, Jamie Hill. She's usually in the chat room. She's not here tonight. Sorry, Jamie. But that their Shudder's releasing that. So it's going to be IFC and Shudder. They're releasing. So it's February. It's coming out. So yeah, that'll have you guys seen Skinamarink at all? Get a chance?
Yes and no. I know Kenny and I have seen segments of it that have been like I don't know, what would be the word for that? Like privately, we've seen different parts of it.
Yeah, I've seen clips, I would say, of it, bits and pieces, but I wouldn't say that I've seen,
like W Productions saying hi. So one thing I do recommend.
Hey, Mike, that's actually is that I think that's Mike, our DP, isn't it?
I think it's Mike, our DP.
Yeah, Mike, is that you?
What up, Mike, your DP? So one thing, and Tyler, have you seen the whole thing? I don't know how you watched it, but because I saw it here, and then I went to see it in the theater because it was playing for like a limited thing, and in a dark room with nothing but the attention on the screen, I found it to be way better. So I recommend, if you're gonna watch it, do it in completely as dark a room as you can get with zero distractions, because your eyes start messing with you. You start thinking you're seeing things in like the static, because it's a very lo-fi movie. Like it's very lo-fi. But that adds to the creepiness of it because you don't know what you're seeing, and there's no story. There's literally no story to the movie. Tyler, there's no story. But it's still great. There was jump scares that completely worked. There was a horror film director that was in the same theater as us. He was down in the front, and his popcorn went flying at one point during the movie. It was great. He's like, "Oh my god, my popcorn went everywhere." And I'm like, "That's crazy that happened to you, because you make like pretty crazy horror movies, and it's like." Oof,
and I think that's good, because knowing your audience and knowing where you can add those things in there, that gives like an instrument to the director. Now, have you guys screened Undead? Have you guys seen our film?
Yep.
Yeah. So I don't know if you noticed, but we tried to pull some like certain jump scares in and out of those things. And when we were in, our theatrical release, Mason's big, scene, it actually got standing ovations in the theater.
Oh, yeah?
I mean,
That's
yeah,
funny.
it was pretty cool. And then the first screening we did, we had like so many kids there. Do you remember that? Like all the kids, and like it was awful.
They were like 13, 14.
Yeah, and we felt awful, but it was amazing because they ate it up. They loved it. But me and Kenny looking at each other, and we were like, "Oh my god, this is like every other word's the F-bomb." I was like, "He's a 14."
Sure, they probably hear way worse than that. Yeah,
they probably said it when they were like 10 years old. No,
yeah, but we felt we were like, we felt like bad parents almost.
Yeah,
if you want to feel like a bad parent,
that whole like first 15 minutes, I'm sitting there, and like the room is just like dead silent, right? And I'm just like doing this because I'm like, do they hate it? Do they hate it? Do they hate it? And like I was just so anxious. And then that first shot of Zach Sackett as the ghoul, we call him the ghoul. In the film, when the farmer is yelling at him and the camera pans over and you see his face. When the camera panned over, once he came on the screen, there was a collective from everybody, and I was just like, okay,
yeah,
I like it.
Cool.
Okay.
That's a rough one. If you ever screen your own film with an audience, or even just
so
nonchalantly, like you go in and you're all like, I don't want nobody to know. Like it is like the nervousness of it all. You're just sitting there like.
They got into it though. They got into it. It was almost like Rocky Horror Picture Show. They were talking back to the screen, and they were
it became interactive. Yeah,
it's gonna be like, shut up, let him talk.
No,
it was great.
Yeah.
Were there scenes that you hope they pop for, where you're like, there's this scene and this scene in mind that I hope we get the reaction that we want? And did you get it?
We did get, we got even some of them we didn't necessarily plan for.
They got a reaction.
Yeah, like that part where Mason, Adam, when he runs into the ghoul and he bends down, he looks at the blood on the on the ground. He goes, "Hey!" When he sees him, like when he done that I don't know if it was the volume in the theater or the kids, but when he looks up, he goes, "Hey!" Like you hear every person go, "Ah!" It was like a jump scare, and I was like, I wasn't anticipating that. But,
no, it wasn't even meant as one. But
it's like, we'll take it though.
Well, maybe because you guys aren't acting on screen like that. You're like, okay, I'm not having to watch myself. So my only experience with that is my cousin Leo and I did a documentary for the making of this movie called Death House, and they were screening it at a horror con, and I do most of the interviews in the documentary. And as soon as I popped up on screen, I'm like, all right, and I just got up and walked out of the room. I'm like, there's no way. And he told me, he's like, no, the parts they were supposed to laugh, they laughed, and I'm like, okay, good, but I'm embarrassed.
Now, yeah, I totally get that. As an actor, our last film, it's me in the lead, and because not only I do acting and directing, and Kenny, he makes cameos like in different movies. You'll see his face, but like whenever you're in the film, that last movie we screened, Boone. It is a film about Daniel Boone we done, and we screened it in the theater. I was just sitting there the whole time, just like. Just sitting there like on edge the whole time. And, I walk out and Kenny's like, dude, it's fine. The movie it's fine. And I was just sitting there like, no, this was so bad. Everybody hated it. Yeah.
It's funny because I always like to myself, I'm like, I want to dabble around, like maybe try to do a little like independent movie acting and stuff from here. But I'm like, I'm terrified. Like, I'll never watch it ever. I'll never even tell anyone when it comes out. But, that being said, we do have the trailer for Night of the Undead. I want to play that. 3 minutes, 36 seconds, and we'll be right back.
Oh, wait.
You really have something to say? I can go back.
Yeah, my bad. I was gonna say, Tyler, he made his little cameo in this too.
Oh yeah,
and,
the trailer.
Yeah, he's in the trailer. That's what I was gonna say. So for everyone who sees this, you're gonna see Tyler. I'm like, because he's the first thing. I was like, damn it, how did I forget
I thought you were messing with me. Like, oh wait. Then I'm like, maybe I should go back and check. All right, so here we go. Here once again,
time. Yeah, for real.
Here's the trailer.
Listen, when it comes to this whole Night of the Living Dead business, people seem to be pretty divided about what went down. It's either that they believe what happened was real, or they're just crazy. I'm sorry, but how do you justify the dead returning to life? That just doesn't make any sense to me. My heart has nowhere to go.
In your hands. Look, I've said it before and I'll say it again. This whole Night of the Living Dead fiasco, it's nothing but a lie.
The cemetery. This Saturday, we can go down there somewhere near the cemetery and do our podcast.
Alright guys, this is it. There's no escaping you. Yes, this is gonna be great. Nothing but relaxing and getting some kick-ass footage.
Don't forget about the booze. Need something to knock the edge off.
What's wrong? Are you scared, fight? They're coming to get you, my brother.
So, we're here at the farmhouse where all those people were supposedly held up. Nothing special, really. Kind of an old place.
When Brady makes jokes about that night, I wish that he would take this more seriously.
Can anyone out there see us?
Good evening, my fellow Americans. It is with a heavy heart I have come before you tonight to address the crisis of violence occurring across our nation. I have spoken with top U.S. health officials and medical experts, and they have all confirmed that the bodies of the deceased are in fact returning to life. In what is being called a Night of the Living Dead, the deceased are not returning as they once were, but are seeking out and consuming human flesh, which seems Right now, there are no theories as to why this could be occurring or how to resolve it.
Look, why don't you guys just stay here while I go get home?
What? I'm not staying here.
It's only a few miles back to town. I could be back here in an hour tops.
It's real.
Because of the obvious threat to untold numbers of citizens, and because of the crisis which is even now developing, this radio station will remain on the air day and night. This station and hundreds of other radio and TV stations throughout this part of the country are pooling their resources for any emergency.
Obviously, October 7th is a wrong date because it gets released today. We
Yeah,
lost
that-
Kenny. I don't know where Kenny went.
Yeah, that was the that I'm on the phone with him. He
Okay.
got a new phone. It kicked him off because he just reset his phone.
Oh.
He said, I got kicked out. I said, of what? He said, the Raccoon Lodge, you dipshit. Let me here, I'm gonna send him the link, get him
Okay.
back on.
Sounds good.
But yeah, the October 7th, that was actually that was the theatrical release.
Oh, there you
is
go.
what that was for. Yeah. So I know that was kind of confusing there.
Oh no, I mean we've seen, especially this, the last couple of years, a lot of movies get pushed back and pushed back and pushed back because of things,
Right. Yeah. Well, yeah.
Oh my God, Sergio! Again, this is like the second time he missed it. There was one other show a couple of weeks ago where he's like, "Are you guys playing a trailer? You're going to play a trailer?" And then we played it. He's like, "I had to go to the bathroom or something like that." And he missed it. Sorry,
play it-
Sergio.
play
Have to
it
go
again.
back. No, it's no. Sergio, you can just go back and watch it again later.
Now,
But
the one thing I really dug about this movie too is not only with the music in it, and then also the makeup. So, being a independent, is it people you knew, or did you hire, like, look around and find like a makeup company, or how'd that go?
No, so the makeup was actually done primarily, by us and our cast members. We had some cast members who had background in makeup, and some of our crew who was working on the film too, and they all just sort of contributed to doing the makeup. And how the makeup turned out so good, I really don't know, because it was honestly like, it wasn't like super expensive. It was just like basic makeup, so it just, I think between the charisma of Zach Sackett, who played our ghoul, and everyone else, we had them with the contact lenses and stuff, between their performance and just the skills of this crew who could do this makeup, it really, I feel like it sold it, because it was so to the point. And I thought the makeup turned out fantastic, because they look like zombies, like their flesh is peeling off, so
yeah. And you didn't try to do too much with too little. That's the thing.
Yes,
Is
you
like
can.
you did like the appropriate amount. Like if you tried to go too far with like minimal makeup, it would look crazy.
Yeah, you don't want it to look fake. And I feel like that was something that was really captivated in this film, was the fact that, we tried to avoid using so much of the blood, so much of the, the repetition of killing of zombies. That's why we kind of kept it short and sweet to the point. And I feel like that was what really helped sell it, because we had more character development than we did, just die, zombie, die, zombie, die, zombie, because it does get boring after a while.
Because especially we many a times were the camp of story building and character building, because in some movies it's just like, okay, this person I just met 2 minutes ago died. It's like, oh, okay, well,
I don't care.
But then the more character building you learn, it's like, okay, then you care if something happens, or
you want to hate a guy. Yeah, you want to hate a
Exactly.
guy the whole movie and just be like, yes, when he dies, finally, like, this is awesome.
So we're in the camp of the character development over anything else, because it's like I need to feel either with a character, or okay, now I got someone to root against in the movie. So
yeah, and that was something we really tried to touch on, was the fact of we wanted to build, like, when you see a character get killed in this film, we really wanted people to have that emotion. And I think that's how Tyler had sort of wrote the story, and I remember the original treatment, I'd put some notes in there and Tyler would put little sub like headings and stuff in the script, like, it says Judy is gnawing on her own arm. Tyler's like, what the hell? He actually put it in the script. So we're shooting and I'm just like, Tyler, so he put these little, subliminal things that would, tell me as a director and, Kenny, these little things like, hey, bring it back. And, these are what we need to focus on.
I'm sorry. Something happened. I apologize.
I am so upset.
I know. I'm a bad kid. I swear.
Take him back.
That's it. You guys unreleased the movie. That's it.
Now
all right.
So Angel's asking when the film is dropping. It's today, Angel. So it's on Blu-ray at through Walmart, multiple places, Best Buy and stuff like that. And it's digitally on Amazon Prime right now, and it's coming to Tubi, right?
Yes.
Tubi's great, by the way. I'm sure you guys know that, but Tubi's great. There's a lot of filmmakers, independent filmmakers, that have made way more money on Tubi than they've ever made on Amazon. Just saying that right now. We've been told that by those filmmakers. For example, the director of Don't Fuck in the Woods, he made it off of Amazon Prime. You'd think with a title like that, it's actually a very fun movie. Yeah. And Angel's asking, what do you guys used for equipment for shooting? Like, what was that all about? He's a camera guy himself.
And that's actually what I wanted to get to. Like, even though you said, you had minimal stuff, if you know what you're doing, like people with the greatest cameras and stuff, if they don't know how to use it, it still looks like crap. So you can get stuff on the lower end, but you know what you're doing, and you wouldn't be able to tell. Well, some you'll be able to tell the difference, but as long as you know what you're doing with the stuff you have, then you can, make it look that much better.
Absolutely. And now we got to give some credit there to our DP, Mike, who, he was really good with the camera. So we really got to hand it to him on that. He done some phenomenal camera movements. And I think between his camera movements and, knowing what to set up, and then, Kenny and I putting our heads together to get those shots that we wanted to see to make come to life, I really feel like that was what brought that to life, because overall I was pleased with the film, just as a director, the way it turned out. And I know Kenny was very pleased with the film, the way it turned out, because we still talk about it every day, just like, we can't believe you're like, we done that, like that was us, like
I always say too, Mike, he is a force of nature. I mean, I always say I feel like he doesn't get enough credit for
Absolutely.
For the job that he does. And Mike, if you're still watching, just know that we really love you and appreciate you. And
Mike's amazing, because you never know. Like we there were times in this film, I didn't mean to cut you off, Kenny, but
no, you're good.
Yeah, even as previous as our other film, we keep Mike on as our DP for about everything, just because he's great. And there were times in this film and the film that we are shooting currently, we'd be in the middle of filming and there would be something off, and Mike's like, "Oh, hang on, I got that." He runs out and he comes in with lights.
He's like MacGyver.
He's MacGyver for sure. Like he runs out. I got this.
We were shooting something last weekend, and I don't remember exactly what it was, but Jake and I were talking or something, and Mike's like, "Do you want to argue or do you want to let me DP?" And I was like, "You need that on a T-shirt, Mike." I mean,
I think it was about those closet lights, because
I'm like, I just need to shut up and let him do his job. Like,
it really depends on the situation, though. You don't want to have. Do you want to argue or do you want to let me DP? Like at certain surroundings, maybe just on film sets, it could be taken other ways.
And now it's weird.
Yeah, totally weird.
And now
speaking
it's weird.
Angel's saying send him the deets, and Mike is still in the chat. He says, "I'm here, thanks guys." So Mike, send Angel the deets, even though you're watching on YouTube and Angel's watching on Facebook. Make it happen.
DP,
bro. All right.
So a lot of, I can tell you a little bit about the equipment we used. A lot of it, we just, Mike used was it Sony A7 III, I believe. And then we used, a Nikon. It's just like a really cheap. It was like a Nikon
like a DSLR or something.
Yeah, that's what all this whole thing was shot on, was DSLRs.
Oh wow.
Yeah, so
Nice.
we kept camera equipment, very minimal. So we shot.
All you have
on
to
like
have is a decent, lens and the knowledge how to use it.
Oh, yeah.
You're
The
good to
lens,
go.
the
Yeah.
power's in the lens. I don't care what anybody says. You get those lenses.
Oh, I
and-
know. Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
Like, the
So
people with 4K cameras out there that are like thousands and thousands of dollars, and they're like, yeah, I'm just going to use the onboard audio for the movie. It's like, what?
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Now we had Brian Crouch do our sound mix for Boom. Now in this film, we actually we used the Sony A7 III, the Nikon D3200, and then for our B cam, we used I think it was a Canon Rebel, like, if you can believe that, like one of the T5s, like one of the ancient ones.
I have a T3 right there. That's
exactly.
That's what I use with my DSLR that I can't use to do real things anymore. So
right, yeah,
because
because like honestly, they've kind of gone outdated ish,
Mm-hmm.
So, but the fact that we were able to incorporate that and use that in the film, like I said, the power's in the lens. You use a big 50 millimeter, you get those bokehs, and it looks real good and pretty. You're set. So
I was going to actually buy a new camera with money after Christmas that I got for Christmas, and I ended up just buying a new lens for this, so I can get the bokeh a little bit.
Yeah,
so that's the only reason I was like, I can spend $200 on a crazy webcam, or I can spend like $100 on a new lens and call it a day.
I will say this, as a filmmaker, we had actually at one point in time, we were going to shoot with a Blackmagic camera, because everybody's, the Blackmagic are great. And Kenny can probably tell you about this. We ended up getting rid of that, and we went back. Yeah. D3200 and the A7 III mirrorless in the comments there. I see it, but
nice.
Yeah, we were going to use Blackmagic because I know that's like what every indie filmmaker wants to use right now. So, we ended up, like you said, it's in the lens. So we end up going, with those big 50 millimeter lenses just to get that, the prime look. And then we just use, the cheap cameras like the D3200 and the D5300, they're like $200-$300 cameras. And then, a lens with, it's like 50, that's probably about 60 to $80 on a lens. So you're looking at, the Blackmagic compared with all your batteries, all your hookups. I'm going to be a nerd here and talk about all this stuff. But you got all this, and by the time you rigged it out and stuff, I mean, God, dude, you're looking at like a couple grand for one camera, and it's just same.
That's why a lot of filmmakers like rent lenses.
Yeah,
like a lot of them don't buy lenses; they rent it.
Like,
just like, whatever.
Yeah,
if you break it, then what happens?
Yeah, so we had the Blackmagics, and we got rid of them, didn't we?
Oh yeah, like they're just it wasn't ultimately was just not worth it, Like, I mean, it looked exactly the same.
Yeah, you could not tell them apart. In fact, I think they look better quality just because of the way we shoot. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
I'm not going to ask Angel what he got recently, because I think it might have been a Blackmagic. I think it may have been. I could be wrong.
Now the 6K and 4Ks, those are probably a little better. We're talking about the original, the OG Blackmagic. So that might be
yeah. So sorry to cut everything short, guys, but we're just about time to wrap up. So I want to go through and make sure everyone has their plugs and knows where to go follow you guys, because the audio for this is going to go up next week as well. So it's a whole other group of people that will listen as opposed to watch. Sergio, be here for the trailers. You ask for the trailers and you disappear. Whatever. He's got a Blackmagic super. I don't know what that means. All right. Whatever. I'm gonna just put this up because I have no idea what he's talking about. OG Blackmagic.
Yeah, that's what we had. The OG, that was the original. So if you want our advice as filmmakers, sell that shit and get a $200 camera.
There you go, Angel. Sorry. But anyways, let's go around because we haven't heard much from Tyler. So Tyler, first off, what do you have coming up? I know you're working with them a bunch. Do you have anything else going on besides working at a dispensary that I have to ask you about afterwards? So the what do you got going on? Where can people go to follow what you have happening?
So right now I'm been kind of promoting the television pilot I wrote, like Kenny was saying before. I won a couple awards on a couple film festivals through the website Film Freeway. So I'm actually organizing a table read for that. I just casted everyone, and hopefully sometime within the next month, hopefully get like a a table read of sorts done, via Zoom, with the folks, reading their parts, and just to kind of see how that goes. And it's funny because it's a pilot for a television show that it's inspired by like stuff like Modern Family and Parks and Rec, so it's something completely different than what I just did with Night of the Undead. But I wanted to try both. I figured let's try horror now. Let's try comedy. See how this goes. Yeah,
totally. So, and where can people go to follow you, like social media and stuff?
And so for social media, you can just look me up at Tyler Aucoin, AUCOIN, or I'm going to be over on Instagram, all one word, Music and Movie Man. And I'm actually going to be doing a giveaway. I bought an extra Blu-ray. I'm going to be giving away a copy of A Night of the Undead. So go follow me on Instagram at Music and Movie Man, all one word, and I'll be posting about that within the next couple of days, how you can win a signed copy.
Awesome. That's cool. Kenny, what about yourself?
I'm on Facebook, Instagram. I don't really use Twitter.
Who does?
All that much, I really don't. Like, dude,
You'd be surprised.
Once every 6 months or something. But Facebook, you can search me, Kenny Scott Guffey. And same thing with Instagram. I think on all the socials, I'm at the Ken Scott 88. But I'm probably the only Kenny Scott Guffey that you're going to find, I would say. He
is the Ken Scott.
The Ken Scott. Like, I'm the only one, as far as I know.
And if there is another one, you'll have to take him out, right?
I mean, look, he can't be as cool as me. I'm just
true. Facts are facts.
You could just follow both,
That's true. Yeah, I guess you could do that too, but I don't know. So Jake, what about yourself? Where can people go to follow you? And if you have anything else in the works?
Yeah, so I know Kenny and I, as far as things in the works, we have our film The Dark Room. It's live on Indiegogo right now.
Nice.
So I may be able to throw the link up there. We've got some pretty cool perks, and we're actually doing a thing, for the person who can push us over to some of the limits we're getting. We're gonna do a video chat with Diane Franklin and the cast and stuff one day on set. So
that's cool. Nice.
They'll get the credit, and all those perks as far as the Dark Room goes. But we're excited about that coming out. On Facebook, I'm just Jake C. Young, and then Instagram and pretty much everything else. You can follow me. I'm at Jake C. Young official. I think it's Jake C. Young. Is it _official? I think maybe I'm not sure. It's just Jake C. Young official, and then I've got my link tree and everything there. So if you go to one of those profiles, you're going to be able to find all my other stuff and all of our other film stuff, all our promotions, everything that we've done and everything that we're on.
Nice, cool. So Tony, the ever expanding TikTok subscriber base. Tony has 9 fingers. Where can people follow you? How many you're up to now? I want to know how many subscribers.
20.5. So
there you go. 1,000 or million? That's 20.5 thousand. He just talks about his movies. That's what he does. And he has over 20,000 followers on TikTok.
That's epic, man.
It's crazy, right?
Yeah,
it's awesome.
When you said, how many you up to after you said Tony has 9 fingers, I was like, is he up to 10?
Yeah. He's 20.5 fingers. That's crazy.
Whoa.
How big are your hands? All right, so go ahead.
But you can find me at Tony has 9 fingers on YouTube, which I have to really get back into, but I do movie reviews, unboxings, anything movie related. You'll find me on Tony has 9 fingers. Tony has 9 fingers on TikTok, which is my fastest growing little platform, I guess, trying to show movies, independent movies, stuff like that. Tony's Movies on Instagram, where I show off the movies behind me. And here on the Wicked Horror Show every Tuesday, whether we have awesome guests or it's just a horror movie chat, check us out every Tuesday. And then, of course, you can listen to us. But I definitely encourage everyone anybody that's listening, definitely come to the live shows because you can ask questions and you could check out the trailer that we had. And most of the time you just hear it. And
next week they're going to hear it. I'm sure it sounds awesome, but you want to watch it, right? It's weird because we've been doing the video podcast for way longer than we're doing the audio podcast, but we have way more followers on the audio podcast, but whatever. So anyways, myself, you can find me A-Knuckle on Instagram. Besides doing the show, I'm also part of Black and White Fright, and coming up, That Strange Show. I'm going to be recording with them this Saturday. And we have some other things in the works that some things are on hold, and we'll talk about this after the show. Stuff that I wanted to bring up. But anyways, thanks for watching / listening, everyone. And have a good night. And go check out Night of the Undead. Go buy it at Best Buy and take a selfie and tag them in it. There. Bye.